I'll bring Bronson up here. I'm also going to bring up Bronson Schubert. This will be Bronson and I we'll be going together, just kind of like a 1-2 combo here for a minute. And we're going to go through and really tap into his knowledge. So Bronson, I'll have you get on that mic right there. Yeah, and we'll do kind of a Q&A style. And what we're doing again at noon, if you want to meet Tim Tebow, if you're watching online, I want to give you some free resources you can check out. So if you go to thrivetimeshow.com/free resources, Sean, if you pull it up, thrivetimeshow.com/free-resources, all the tangible items you have here, they're available to digital copies for free. I've written, as of last count, I think there's 41 books, 42 books, and those are all up there. So if you want to learn search engine optimization, or you want to learn how to do a podcast, or you want to learn management, or you want to deep dive into different topics, there's books for all those different subjects, and they're all free to download at thrivetimeshow.com /free-resources. Also, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com /downloadables, we have got, and I'm not exaggerating, hundreds of thousands of dollars of downloadables. You know, so there's a document for how to onboard an employee. You know, you work with an attorney to create a document for how to relieve an employee of their job, aka fire them, or work release document. There's non-competes, non-solicitation agreements. There are systems, processes, workflows, everything you would need to run a business. It's all there. You can put up on the screen there, thrivetimeshow.com /downloadables. That's thrivetimeshow.com /downloadables. I mean, there is so much there, a complete treasure trove of what you need to start and grow a successful company. And a little background into my background, and then Bronson's for anybody who's watching online. Alphabetically speaking, I'll try to do it alphabetically speaking. Back in the day, I started a disc jockey company. That's with the letter D, called DJconnection.com. And I started it. We grew it to America's largest wedding entertainment company, doing 4,000 weddings a year, which is 80 weddings a weekend. 80 weddings a weekend, a lot of vans, a lot of DJs, a lot of mic stands, a lot of brides, a lot of weddings. We also did big companies, you know, UPS and Boeing and Bama Pie and Coca-Cola. Chuck Norris's birthday party, may he rest in peace, that happened. We did that. The Minnesota Vikings events, we would do those. Kevin Garnett's grand opening of his store at the Mall of America when I was 18 years old. A lot of events, DJconnection.com. It's still a company. I don't own it. Haven't been involved for many, many years. There's a company, alphabetically speaking, called Epic Photos. I started it, built it, scaled it, sold it. Epicphotos.com, alphabetically speaking. There's a dental practice called Innovations Dentistry that I worked on, called Innovations Dentistry. If you look that up, that's a real thing. Helps grow that. There's Innovations Dentistry. There is Party Perfect. I sold the assets of that. Now a company called Party Pro does the thing. It's the largest party rental company in America. I started Party Perfect. I sold the assets of that company to Party Pro. Who's been to the Tulsa Wedding Show? The Tulsa Bridal Show, wedding shows? That was me, did that. Tulsa Bridal Association Wedding Show. Elephant in the Room, it's a men's haircut chain, eitrlounge.com. That's a real business. I still own it. 15 years I've been doing that. I invest in real estate, buy real estate, hold real estate, buy and hold. People ask me all the time, what do you invest in? I take a quarter of my income, I buy gold and silver, and then I polish it. You say, well, what else do you do? Well, I just polish it. That's the sound that when you really want to, it's kind of that seal kind of a, that's the key to good investing with gold and silver. You buy it, that's the thing, you want to get that higher pitch. That's what you do. You might get a cloth and wipe it down like, you need to say, well, what else do you do? Well, you want to polish it. You want to get in there. You want to get, that's what you do. You take a quarter, you buy gold and silver. I've been doing that since 2005. The price of gold was $400 an ounce then, and now it's $4,600 an ounce now because I'm a genius. No, because I just buy and hold gold and silver, okay? So I would recommend that. And then I take a quarter of my wealth and I buy real estate from emotional people. People that are like, I hate my husband. I'm burning his clothes. And I go, well, let me find my therapist friend, Rhonda. She'll talk to you, but can I buy your house? You know, people that are getting divorced, emotional, you know, who knows what I'm talking about? You buy real estate from emotional people, buy low, hold. So we have real estate. That's what I do. That's the summary of my investment strategy. And there's other things I'm involved in. We have the Thrivetime Show podcast, which about 7 people listen to. My mom won't listen to it. She just can't handle the heat. My wife doesn't like it. My wife likes Mike Adams as long as he's not talking about Israel. My wife's very pro-Israel, so we don't. But she likes Mike Adams. My wife would listen to Dan Bongino. She won't listen to me. My wife probably listens to Bronson's podcast now, and not just to spite me, and won't listen to my podcast. So there's about 7 people listen to the Thrivetime Show podcast. We do that. And there's other companies. But anyway, long story short, I've built dozens of businesses, and that's what I do. And Bronson is God's gift to insurance. He and his beautiful wife, they have a real estate company that she runs. He started an insurance company, and there's like thousands and thousands and thousands. There are thousands of insurance agents. Who knows what I'm talking about? I think everybody's a real estate agent or an insurance agent. I think everybody is. I think that's what you are. You're born in Oklahoma. Look at that baby. That baby's an insurance agent. Look at that baby. They get your social security number and get you your license. There's a lot of them. And most of them never sell anything ever. They just go, well, I don't know what's going on. It's the economy. It's the weather. It's the competition. Who knows what I'm talking about? Insurance agents. They're everywhere. Because once they work their natural market and they hit you up like a timeshare trying to sell you life insurance, who knows what I'm talking about? Come on. Everybody here knows somebody who just became an insurance agent. Hey, Rhonda, it's been a while since we've talked. I've been praying for you. Because we're in Oklahoma, you say that. Been praying for you, thinking about you. The Holy Spirit's working on me. And who do you use for life insurance? Who knows what I'm talking about? Now, if you're in New York, you would say, hey, so here's the deal. I got my license, and don't be a jerk about it. Just sign up. Come on, I need someone to buy something. I swear. Lapstat. All right, that's what they would do in California. It would be, bro, I've been thinking about you. Do you want to get insurance, bro? Not like in a transactional way, though. More of a we're connecting kind of way, bro. But anyway, he's in Oklahoma. He's an insurance agent. He's the top guy. Tell us about some of the awards you've won. Were you like the second worst insurance of the year for State Farm? Or what was the other award? What are some of the awards your team has built here?
Yeah, we've won several awards. State Farm Awards, Industry Awards, $1 Million Roundtable. Recently, both of our offices qualified for an internal State Farm Award. And puts us in the top 10th of a 1% in the nation. There's like 20,000 agents.
Top 10th of 1%?
Top 10th of 1%. So we're happy about that.
So he's a little better than the bottom of all insurance agents.
We're not the worst.
Yeah, and it's kind of a commodity a little bit because you can't really change your website. Someone should write this down. These are all things he can't do. He can't change his website. He can't really set the prices. He can't change the logo. By the way, I find that the people who do the most sales are the most focused on sales. And the folks that do the fewest amount of sales typically are the ones kind of rummaging around Dropbox, changing the name of the files all the time. Because there's an avoidance where you seem busy if you focus on things that are not related to sales. You're adjusting files and going to seminars. You need to sell something. Okay, so now with that being said, I'm going to go through some things that Bronson's doing well, and I encourage everyone to take notes, and we'll do Q&A, and hopefully hear more from him than me. So here we go. Box number 1, revenue goals. You have revenue goals?
Yes, we have revenue goals.
Talk about it.
I establish those kind of myself in a fall planning every year. And then I look at policy growth goals, household count goals, and then I set the goals. State Farm sets a lot of goals for me, too. So I make sure we hit those. That's like kind of a minimum. But I have our own goals on top of that, and then we build the business for the following year kind of around those goals.
And one of the goals Bronson has is to produce a new child every 12 months. And so if you, where can we see these kids? Is there a website you have?
You go to yallowcrazyranch.com.
There it is. It's Bronson, and there's, I met him, I had 5 kids, and I was in the lead. And I'm like, nobody will ever have more, because 5 kids now is like, people ask you, are you okay? You say, how many kids do you have? 5. They go, are you okay? You okay? 5 kids. How many of you know what I'm talking about? You have 5 kids now. People say, are you okay? Or are you Mormon? Are you Mormon? Are you okay? Is your Mormon self okay? Are you okay? Are you Amish? Are you Amish? Are you churning the butter? Are you making your own fudge? Are you doing that? Is it making your own furniture? Is your kid? So now this guy though, how many kids do you have now?
We have 7.
Are you done?
Probably not.
Now real quick. Are you sure? Is 8 appropriate?
Pretty.
Is it appropriate? What about your carbon footprint?
Yeah.
Is it ethical?
I think that's ethical right there.
Oh, look at that one.
Right there.
Now, notice I've worked with Bronson for many years, and every one of his children, they're not named after me or anything close to my name. That shows our relationship. Okay, so Bronson, so you have these kids. Your wife here. Let's look at your wife here. Let's look at a photo with his wife. Your wife is as a real estate agent. Tell us about your wife.
Yeah, so she's a real estate broker. She's got 2 locations, one in Chandler, Oklahoma, and one in Piedmont, Oklahoma. Then she also has an event venue that operates out of those 2 spaces as well. And yeah.
So you got a successful real estate business, successful insurance business. You got real estate. You buy. Tell us about the real estate stuff you like to do.
Yeah, we like to buy bad properties or from people that are in tough spots, like Clay said. And we buy a lot of sheriff sale properties. We're working on 2 of them right now. And I got a free car in the latest one I bought. It's a 2005 Ford Explorer.
Oh, nice.
Yes, open the garage. It's there.
Now, so Bronson, they're having success. Just to give them more. You're building your house. You're building a dream house right now.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about it? Are you excited about it?
Oh, we love it. I mean, we've wanted to build a ranch, have a lot of kids, raise kids on a ranch. We got a 570-acre ranch in Chandler, Oklahoma, and we're building a nice house. And Randy and Amy are building us an awesome pool in the backyard. Highly recommend them if you want an awesome outdoor space. It's going to be pretty awesome.
Did Randy say on his DIY pool kit, it's like a Build-A-Bear, but for pools, where you dig your own hole?
With Randy, it's like the opposite of DIY. I want him and the professional team to like make it awesome. And we had to make decisions yesterday at their office, and it was a good experience. But I'm glad I'm done with decisions. And
Did you go with water? Did he go with the water pool? The pool with the water? Okay, all right. So now you currently live. I think you moved into like an abandoned shack. So your kids could, right now, because you're building this dream house, but currently, don't you, like, there's 8 of you, or how many you got, 7 kids? There's 9 of you.
There's 9.
And you're living in, like, is it a 4,000 square foot house? How big of a house are you living in right now?
No, it's an 1,800 square foot house. It's a little 3-bed, 2-bath.
Look at James. James is great. Look at this. I love this guy. James looks at him like the way you would see if a car was ready to hit a woman. He looks over like he needed to help. He's immediately when you said that number, he goes, okay, keep going.
Yeah, that's why it's named Y'all Are Crazy Ranch, right? We're not afraid to take actions that are counterintuitive to culture. And so, yeah, we had a big 4,500 square foot house, and we sold it and sacrificed for a while so we could build our dream home and made some moves. So, yeah, we live in a smaller house now, and we've got 5 boys in 1 bedroom. They got 2, bunk beds kind of bumped up to each other there. And, yeah, then a little toddler bed, and it's awesome.
What in the smell's going on in that room with 5 boys? What in the smell?
You don't want to know the smells going on.
Okay, all right. So, but I want to talk about, and Tim Tebow's going to talk about it. I just want you to write it down somewhere in your book where you remember, okay? Because we got to live intentionally. We're having a lot of fun, but we want to live intentionally, okay? So we talked about on page 4, page 5, right? You want to have the F6 life. You want to be intentional. What are your goals for your faith and your family and your finances and your fitness and your friendship and your fun? I remember dating in high school and dating in college. I remember dating in college, and I went on a date with a lady, and she's a nice lady, and I said, hey, how many kids do you want to have someday? It's kind of a weird question to ask on a date, but I did. And I said, she goes, I don't know if I want to have kids. I'm like, hard pass. It's been good. It's been a good relationship. I'm glad. And then I went on the next date. I'm like, how many kids do you want to have? And hard pass. And then finally I met my wife. We're married. And I said, hey, how many kids do you want to have? She had 5. I said, I want to have 5. She goes, yeah, I could see that. I'm going, yes. Because I knew what I wanted, which is 5 kids. Very intentional, I knew I wanted a wife that would respect me and be a helpmate and be supportive, and I wanted someone who I could marry who was smart. I didn't want to marry an idiot, you know what I mean? There's kind of a, you know what I'm talking about? I didn't want to be around an idiot. I wanted someone who's smart, who I could talk to and have communication with and not, and so my wife's gorgeous, she's great, but I wanted someone who's smart, so who knows what I'm talking about? But I'm very intentional, right? So we have 5 great kids, very intentional. This guy's got great family, very intentional, okay? So you want to be intentional. So what does your week look like? Walk us through your weekly cadence that you have with your business and your life. How do you do it?
Yeah, so we have a lot of built-in routines where every week looks a lot of the same. My wife and I, since we both own several companies, we have to have everything scheduled. So we share a family calendar. She throws things on there all the time. I'm putting stuff on there. Everything is scheduled, and we know what everything's is happening. Like tonight, we got 2 boys with baseball games. So I'm going to leave here after Tim Tebow, go home, go to baseball games. But everything has to be scheduled, and I mean like everything, And so every Monday morning, we have a weekly staff meeting. And Luke actually runs the staff meeting. And you can go back on our tracking sheet and look for probably 7 years. and we've never missed a week. You can just scroll and scroll and scroll and see all the numbers that we want to track. Every Wednesday, we have the group interview. Every Tuesday, I've got a group interview for another company that we do. Fridays is ranch and real estate days. I'm checking on the ranch. I'm checking on the housing remodels that we got going on. And so and the weekends are usually some sports and family time.
Masood, can you come up here and join us real quick? This is Masood. Have you ever met Masood?
I don't think so.
I've known Masood since I was 19.
No, never met him.
I've known, now, real quick, Masood, I want to get you on this mic real quick here. Hey, welcome, Masood. How you doing?
Good, thank you, Phyllis.
Good to see you. So I grew up without money, and I heard this guy was doing well. He's what do you tell people what you do for, like, what is your job? What is your profession? What do you do?
I love life, and I want to bring the best in myself and others.
Where are you from?
I was born in Iran, first generation, proud, blessed, first generation American from Iranian descent.
Because and I want you to really get this somewhere, live intentional, but next idea, Bronson does it, so does he. You got to view every day as a gift. You got to view every day as a gift from God. You've just got to somehow do that. Can you tell, and I'm going to get you off this because you're so much better when you're not on this Motown mic. We got to get you with that.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
nice. So can you tell everybody what happened to your mom?
Well, my mom, we come from a prominent family, so finance was never have an issue for us. But she and the group of the other lady, they chose to protest the government. Muslim extremists combined with the communist ideology. If you don't believe me, someone told me politics doesn't matter. I said, well, President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala taught us politics matters, because politics interpret as policy, and policy would affect your life. You don't believe it? If they set the train on the south, that's the direction the train will go. You say, well, I don't like it. Well, you have option to stand in front of it, run you over, or you can get on it, or you can stand up in the side and Billy, I can complain. Politics matters. So my mother, they protested it, and anytime you go protest, they go to the public boss. They throw acid in the woman's face. They brutalize them. I haven't been there. That's what my mother told me. They put the woman's hands, when you put a mannequin, whatever, you ladies paint their fingers, they put your hands in the roaches box, and they put you in the things that has all kind of bees. So it's a way they punish you, that you never ever. These are the one who decide what you need to wear. If somebody want to cover their face, I have no problem. It's between them and their family. But the government to dictate you what you eat, what you listen, what you do, to me is horrible. So blessed America. America is a great nation. We cannot afford to lose it. If you believe in America, the greatest weapon to hand off those Muslim extremists and communist ideologies is silence. Silence is the best weapon to them. We cannot be silenced. Doesn't mean you have to become aggressive. We always have to respect due process. That's the essence of democracy.
Now, Masood, are you a psychologist or a psychiatrist? How would you describe what you do?
I was a psychologist, but now I see more myself as an educator, life educator. Means I'm a teacher as well as a student.
And you're a real estate developer too, a little bit, aren't you?
Yes, sir. We own about kind of 85.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to make sure, because I'm going to come back to you.
80,000 square feet commercial property and some other stuff. I'm in the business.
But I want to make sure you get this. These two are the same in a lot of ways, but you've never met. But this guy was huge for me, because I'm like 19 years old, and I'm going, I want to be successful, and I saw it in him. And I'm like, where are you from? And he tells me about Iran, and they fled the oppression, and he says to me, Mr. Clark, you have a gift. You were born in America. You got to go seize the opportunity, my friend. You have no idea what it's like growing up in Iran. I remember going, wow. I mean, I thought I was fired up, but you roll around people like this, and you start to change the worldview you have. Now, over here, Bronson, you and your wife, you're seizing the day. You're doing it every day. You got this schedule, but you also have boundaries for your family. So what's some of the stuff that you don't do? Because your kids are very good at sports, very good at athletics, but you do some weird, countercultural, stuff that's anti-establishment just because you're intentional. Tell us some of that.
Yeah, I'll give you one. It was last night. So every Wednesday and Sunday we go to church, and we're big on that. I think if you're a Christian, I see a lot of parents that are Christians, and they have kids, and then they spend all their time at the ball fields, and they never go to church. They never talk about the Bible, and it's like, I don't know how you expect your kids to grow up and be Christians, but I don't think that's going to work. But last night is a Wednesday. Our kids go to church every Wednesday, and they called a T-ball game for one of my sons, and they called a back-to-back game, two games. Well, we could go to one before church, and then we told the coach we're leaving and we're going to church. We won't be there for the second game. I mean, we're the only ones that do that kind of stuff, and that's very countercultural. But that's intentional living. That's the way we want to live. And you have to be able to fight against society on whatever your convictions and goals are. Just move forward with what you want your life to be like, and you have to let go of what people think about you.
So we're moving through this workflow, being intentional, whatever your definition of that is, okay? So box 2, your break-even number is 3. The number of hours you're willing to work per week. Bronson, talk to me about the schedule you like to keep, the cadence, the work schedule.
Yeah, right now my cadence is like Monday through Thursday, I go to town, go to Edmond and work, and then on Fridays I stay at the ranch in real estate. Saturdays, sometimes ranch and real estate, and so that's kind of the cadence right now. In the beginning, starting the business 11 years ago, there was a lot more hours at the office, right? I remember Dr. Z giving me a good analogy of starting a business is like getting a rocket into space, right? And taking a lot of fuel and energy and effort and getting it up there. And then once you're in space, you can just hit the boosters every now and then and make course corrections. That's a pretty good analogy for what it's like.
And then you hit the firmament and you crash. I'm just kidding.
Can I share something?
What about you?
Our daughters, our youngest daughter graduated from the university, as you were saying earlier. Her degree was a business. I said, did anybody, any of those professors taught you is business, not easiness? They said, what do you mean? If you get in the business, you have to erase the word easy out of your vocabulary. If it was easy, then everybody would do it.
That's good.
That's the deadliest mindset, to go with the idea easy. I want to be like him, but have a wisdom to ask, what did it take? As opposed to being jealous and envy, have a sufficient wisdom and caution. Ask the question, what does it take? What is the path? And I hear a lot of time business people say, it's a 24/7. But people say you need to work hard, but you have to be smart. Work hard, be smart. Someone asked me why. I say, if you have a 50 years old tree in your backyard, take your butter knife and try to cut it. I want to work really hard. Well, it takes you years. Take your handsaw. Take it maybe 10 years. Go get a chainsaw. Maybe take you 2 months. Now pay somebody to do it for you. Go do what you're good at. And make 10 times more than that.
Now, real quick, I'm just trying to help somebody. I'm making sure you get this idea, okay? So you want to live intentional. Got that? We got that. Everybody's very intentional. We want to know our goals for our faith, our family, our finances. Be very intentional with that. Faith, family, finance, fitness, friendship, fun. The second, you got to view every day as a gift, okay? All right? Now, the third thing, we have to master these processes. You can't skip a step here because you don't like it, okay? You can't skip a step because you don't like it. I know school taught us we could skip a step if we don't like it. You have to get good at these things. So box number 4, State Farm really doesn't allow Bronson to choose what makes him different. They decide. They run their own commercials. They have their own brand. That's what they do. Before working with Bronson, I used to work with the #1 farmer's insurance agent for almost a decade. And farmers, they have their own brand. You can't really differentiate, but you're kind of given. So again, don't get too hung up on that if you're in a commodity. The next step number 5, branding. Bronson, you've embraced, and we're going to go faster, make sure we get all this in here. You've embraced VISM, V-I-S-M, every single week. You get video clips every week. You get images. You get those Google reviews. You do it every week. If you look up Bronson Schubert in Google right now, you're doing it. And I can't tell you how many insurance agents I have talked to. None of them are here, by the way. Nobody else. So just talk to these people. Nobody here could be offended by that. But they'll go, I just didn't get a review this week. You know, oh, jeepers, the weather, the wind, things happened. You know, my wife was out of town. My birthday. It was my sister's birthday. I couldn't do it. But you never say that. Every week you get it. V-I-S-M. Talk about how do you get a Google review every week, you sicko?
Well, you know, a lot of people in business, they want to find like, I don't know, some complicated secret or some kind of an app or something like that. And what you're going to learn here is like, it just takes diligent hard work and consistency every week. And a lot of people get bored with that because they don't want to do the same thing every week. And so, but the success, that's where that comes from. So every week, I don't know, we get 20 to 30 Google reviews, and we also upload photos, which y'all are looking at. Now, here's the other deal. Like, this shows that we've got less than 2,000 Google reviews. I'm just going to tell you guys this for that don't know. Last year, we hit over 2,000, and Google just wiped out 400 in a day. That stuff happens, and you just got to keep plugging away. between both offices, we've probably got 10,000 Google reviews.
That's true.
But they're only going to show 1.9 or whatever.
When how many of you remember what hydroxychloroquine was or is? Who's ever taken hydroxychloroquine? Are you dead? No, you're here. Oh, it's great. Awesome. So hydroxychloroquine, when COVID came out, I hopped on the radio show. It was the Thrivetime show on 1170. It was the most listened to AM radio show at that time. And I said, hey, good news, Thrive Nation. COVID's treatable with hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin. You know, ivermectin is like a cursing at people, I guess. But ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, and I said that, and right away they deleted my YouTube account, which at that point had hundreds of thousands of followers. They just deleted it. That stuff's going to happen, and you just have to decide to move on because you can't let emotion get in the way of motion, okay? Can't let your emotions get in the way of motion. You can't let your emotion get in the way of motion. Back to Masood, I want to talk to you about this. I was 25, and I had a person in my life who I kind of had to remove from my life. But they go, do you have any friends? I remember that question. I go, what do you mean, friends? They go, do you have any friends? The same person's the same age as me. I went to college with them. I go, yeah. Who are your friends? I go, and I remember, I go, well, Dr. Zellner's my friend. And he's like 45 years old. He was your wife's boss. I'm like, yeah. Who else is your friend? I said, Terry. He's like, the billionaire railroad guy, he's your friend? I said, Terry's my friend. Who else is your friend? And I'm listing off people. I said, you know, Masood's my friend. And he's going, these are all business people. And I go, yeah, because I have no interest in talking to you or anyone like you who has no interest in being successful. This is why my life is good. I don't want to be around you in your negative energy, man.
Amen.
But my wife and I were very intentional. We were a 25-year-old couple, and all of our friends were north of 40, all of them. And they were all people, we did dinner with people who were 50. You know, dinner with people who are 40. And they were all people who were successful, and we learned so much. And so with Masood, if you call this man, he answers his phone, and he'll say, happy Thursday. Don't you say that?
Yes, sir. Happy Thursday.
Doesn't matter what's going on. And again, back to you told my kids about being thankful for being Americans.
Yes, sir.
And
It's
you
a
told them
golden
about the horrible things that happen if you protest the government. In Iran, what are some of the horrible things that happen when people protest Iran?
They kill you because it's a government of the dictator, by the dictator, for the dictator. People are a slave. People are owned. People are object and property of the dictators. If you question, you're dead. Opposition in this country is a blessing. That's the way we maintain everybody in their line. Over there, you question, you're dead.
You told my kids about someone's getting their eyes poked out?
Yes, they did. I mean, I was tortured. I mean, I know, you know, sometimes people come in my office. We have about 65 people work. We are the largest one in Oklahoma. Someone's coming and say, oh my God, it's Monday. I say, if you don't like your Monday, give it to me. I'll leave it for you. They say, oh God, it's Friday. Oh my God, we have to go vacation and spend money. Since when you go vacation, save money? Oh my God, it's too hot. I said, what season are we? It's summer. It's a belly aching, as he said very well. It's a belly aching. It's a poison. Don't buy that poison. Don't give in. As you say, stay out of the box. Stay in your own box. The best can happen when you show blessing. The best come for people who recognize, appreciate, and celebrate. You're born in America, greatest nation in this planet of Earth. You already have your golden ticket. Someone asked me, have you ever won a lottery? I said, oh, yeah. They said, when? I said, when I became American citizen. I didn't cross the border illegally. But I came here, lived American dream, and I'm blessed. I would not be alive. I would not be alive if I was not in this country. It's the greatest nation in the world. You already, each one of you guys, have a golden ticket. Would you say to someone beside you, I have a golden ticket? Would you? Don't be embarrassed. Say it loud. Are you having a golden ticket? Are you having a golden ticket? Yes. And each one of you, I assure you, each one of you guys are millionaires. Someone said, millionaires? You don't know my account. You're broke. I said, no, still you're a millionaire. I said, are you willing to give your both arms from here for $1 million for someone who came from Afghanistan war? They said, no, I need my arm. I said, how about your both legs from right there? Give it to another soldier who came from Iraq for $1 million. They said, oh no, I need my legs. I said, how about both eyes for another $1 million? They said, no, I need my eyes. I said, well, you got $3 million already in your account. Your problem is you don't know how to invest it wisely.
Unbelievable. This guy, I'll tell you, when you're around people that know what they're talking about, it changes the way you think. I'm telling you. So we move on here. Box number 6, marketing. Now let me walk you through the secret system we have for Bronson Schubert's business. This is the secret marketing system, 3-legged marketing stool. Leg number 1, VISM. We talked about it, right? Videos, images, search engine, more Google reviews. We got that? Everybody got that? Okay. VISM. And if you have your own website, you add a D to it. VISMD, because it's diagnostic, you have to update it every single month for compliance. SEMrush and MOZ.com. That's the websites, SEMrush.com. If you're a client, we'll do it for you, but you have to update your site. Okay, VISM. The second is you got to call people. And I'll never forget, I met with Clifton Talbert, who was the first African-American west of the Mississippi to start a bank. Clifton Talbert, if you look him up there, Sean. Clifton Talbert. And I met with Clifton Talbert. He also introduced the Stairmaster to the marketplace. And I said, Clifton, I was like 24, 23-ish. And I said, Brother Clifton, how did you introduce the Stairmaster to the marketplace? And he said, I cold called every gym in America. And I'm like, you called every gym in America? He said, well, you understand that when I grew up in Glen Allen, Mississippi, there's a movie called Once Upon a Time When We Were Colored. You can see it. It stars Felicia Rashad. It was in theaters. He said, when I grew up, I wasn't allowed to go into the bank. I wasn't physically allowed to go into the bank in Glen Allen, Mississippi because I was black. This is a true story. Glen Allen, Mississippi, look it up. This is Clifton Talbert, Once Upon a Time We Were Colored. You got it up there. He said, I couldn't go into the front door of a bank because I was black. In America. He's old enough for this story to be true. And he said, so I always wanted to own a bank. So I figured the best way to do it would be to make a lot of money and then buy a bank. I'm going, that makes sense. So I said, well, I'm with my company, DJ Connection, I'm struggling to overcome adversity and to make calls. And he's like, well, you're weak. And I'm like, well, this is the kind of mentorship I needed. Do you got any feedback? He's like, you're just weak. You just fear adversity, and you're born on third base. I couldn't go into a bank. So you don't have what it takes. But if you do have what it takes, you want to make calls. And I go, you're saying I do have what it takes? He's like, well, you have to decide. I can't decide for you. But if you have what it takes, you'll make the calls. And if you don't, you won't. Now, Bronson, you have got a whole team of people making calls. Talk about the culture, because leg number 1 is the VISM. Leg number 2 is you're calling people. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we probably make at least 5,000 outbound calls a week, at least. But when we bring on a new person, sometimes they have call reluctancy. They don't want to make calls, or they're not familiar with that kind of culture. But you can see in here we've got several people, and they make tons of calls. And Luke will have to kind of coach them up on making the calls, And we have a call report that generates every evening, so we know how many calls were made per person. And so if the call report shows a low number, then he'll go have a conversation with make more calls. And usually it's just like somebody just got a little reluctant and they don't want to make calls. They don't want to be rejected, But when you build a culture of not being scared of rejection, then you hire new people and they come in and they just kind of get right in line.
Now, we've got one of our clients. He's in California, and we call him every 90 days and ask him if he wants to come in to get his $1 haircut at Elephant to the Room, which is in Tulsa. And Keith's like, I don't know, but it might be worth the trip. But I live in California. And he's like, but I'm sure he'll call me in 90 days and ask me again. And he loves it because he knows that we're going to call him. But it's a system, okay? So what you want to do, box 7, if you're taking notes here, okay, is you want to have a sales script. And your sales script cannot have emotion. You can't have a script that says, when I'm rejected, I'm going to emotionally shut down. You can't put that in your script of you can't write in the script, when I'm emotionally dejected, I won't make calls. You can't say, when it's my birthday, I won't make calls. You can't say, when I'm sick, when I'm tired, does that make sense? You have to this call script cannot change. You have to make the call script. Second, you have to have call recording. You have to record calls for quality assurance, okay? You have to have a one sheet, a presentation. So leg number 1, VISM, we got it? Videos, images, search engine, more Google reviews. Leg number 2 is the call center he has. And the third leg, and there might be other things he does too, but Bronson does a phenomenal job of turning customer service into a new customer. So does Masood. Let me tell you about Masood. Masood is the best. Love this guy. Because I'm 19 years old. I don't know anything about anything. All I know is I hear that this guy's having success. I met him at Panera Bread. He probably doesn't remember. But I remember, I'm like, who is this guy? And they're like, this is Masood. He's a very successful real estate guy. And I called him up. Could you meet me at Panera? I don't know why you met me at Panera. I don't know whether maybe you were confused. But he met me at Panera Bread talking to my 19-year-old self, telling me that I can do it. I've got the capacity. I'm going to make it happen. And I don't know why he did that, but he did it. And he just kept doing it and preaching it and teaching it, and that's mentorship. That's powerful, right? That's powerful. But Masood turns every interaction into word of mouth. Like everyone who interacts with him wants to come back and bring friends. And so does Bronson's team. So let's talk about that for a second. When you treat your patients that reach out to your practice, and you could just mail it in and do the minimum, but you don't.
We actually go see the people. As you talked about relationship. Relationship means connection. Relationship is like a bridge. You cannot reach out people unless you have a bridge. If you don't know people, because that's my reputation was in Oklahoma. I fought corruption in this state. Because a lot of people want to get on the phone. I cannot, just a phone call and paperwork. This is about 35 years ago. Phone call and paperwork. That's it. And a day was 24 hours. They were billing 40 hours a day. I stood up to that. With the grace of God, you never stand up, mess with people cooking with destroying the milkshake. With the help of God, and many people believe in me, those all-you-can-eat buffet from Medicaid was wiped out. Total transparency. I see people. We go to people. If they want us to come to see us in Panera, we go there. If they want us to go to their home, because they're customer. In the business, customer is a focal point. If you have no customer, you have no business. That's the things that are public school for God. If you don't have a student, you have no teacher, you have no administrator. Customer cannot always be right, remember that. But customer always has a right to be heard.
And I'll tell you this, Dr. Zellner and Masood, Dr. Zellner made it succinct for me. Dr. Zellner said, if you will wow, you'll start getting referrals now. So he's like, when you're growing your DJ business, you have to wow, and you'll start getting customers now. So we were growing the dental practice I was working with. I know it might not seem exciting to you, but how many of you have ever been to a dentist and there's a little bit of a wait in the lobby? Yeah. So we kind of created like a Panera kind of atmosphere in the lobby, for the people that aren't going to be, for the parents. It's like you get like light breakfast items with coffee and various things and fruit trays. So mom doesn't feel like she's wasting her time. There's something there. We had coffee that wasn't the cheap stuff, the nicest stuff possible. The decorations were inspiring, so you felt like you're at Starbucks. And so many customers would say, wow, that lobby is awesome. And then it would turn into stuff. We made sure that you weren't waiting in a weird atmosphere. We had background music, and we taught the front desk lady to interact with every customer, the front desk guy to talk to every customer and treat them kindly. And it turned into referrals. When people call in, they say, hey, I got in an accident. I need to file a claim. You guys solve the problem, but then you actually aim to wow the customer. Talk about how you do that.
Yes, sir.
We do, and we get a lot of feedback from customers that, because they're not used to that level of service that they get with our office. We have intentionality everywhere. So when they do file a claim, we get them connected to claims department because we aren't claims adjusters, but then we have a follow-up process to check in on them and everything like that. When they become our customer, we have a new customer onboarding process where most companies will just write your car insurance and your home insurance and never talk to you again. And that kind of, people are like, really, you want to have a meeting with me? And we don't charge for that meeting, and we have a really good in-depth conversation with them about their financial situation, and a lot of times we're able to help them with stuff that they weren't aware that we could help them with. And so you have to look for ways, especially in my business. I don't control the prices. I can't control any of that, but we have to control the experience, and so you got to always be looking for ways that you can deliver the best experience that you can.
Next area, box number 8. You got to know how much it costs you to get a new customer. Bronson, you know that number. You know what it costs. I'm not going to quiz you on it today, but I'm saying you know what you spend on marketing. And let's tell a story and tell me if this story is correct or not. Aaron, I want you to hear this story. Yes, sir. And if you have a client here, I want them to hear the story too. Okay. I don't know if you do, but this is the story. Thornhill, maybe the story's for you. Okay, here we go. By the way, it's great to meet you in person. It's awesome to see you guys here. So you at State Farm, you do AdWords, which is Google product. It's advertisement on Google, paid ads, okay? And recently, we turned them off. And what happened?
The leads still kept coming in.
Because you have the most
reviews and content.
I'm telling you this because there's a client I'm working with right now. I'm looking at his stat sheet, and last year he spent $250,000 on AdWords, and he went on a little vacation. And how many of you know when you travel, if you make irregular purchases, your card will get stopped? So his card got stopped. And I'm trying to reach him on his trip. And when I'm trying to reach him, I can't reach him because he's gone on a cruise. His ads are off for almost 3 weeks. Solid. You can't reach him. He's gone. He comes back. Hey, I need to reschedule, whatever. His ads were off for 3 weeks. I only know this because I pull his ad stats. Is it shocking to you that his leads didn't go down at all, but his advertisement budget of $250,000 a year is gone?
No, not at all, because ours was pretty close to that on the advertising budget, and we've made some significant cuts, and yet the sales have kind of gone up a little bit. And so that's kind of, but you can't ever take your eye off the ball in your business, because like in 2023, we were spending a bunch on AdWords, and man, we were killing it. It was working.
Yep.
But it doesn't mean it's going to work for forever, you know?
You got to track those numbers. And so I'm just telling you, I worked with a gym owner up in the Northwest, and they turned off their Facebook ads for, I don't know, a month or two. I didn't know they turned them off, and they found out their ads didn't go down at all. So I'm just telling you, you got to track, because then you can start making decisions based upon numbers, not based upon feelings. And I'm just telling you, it's sort of a thing where you feel this the compulsion to spend a bunch of money on ads. But if you're tracking, especially if you're a home builder or you're a mortgage guy or insurance, where it's a very competitive marketplace, you need to track. It's very important. Moving on to box number.
May I make a comment?
Yeah.
Because what he's saying is very crisp and clean. Two things in business matters. Number one is a science. 2 times 2 is 4. If 2 times 2 turn to be 3, something is not right. If 2 times 2 is 6, somebody's embezzling the money, or you are not doing it right. It's a science, but also is an art, as he shared very well. More important, after your product, the goodness of your product is important. The experience, customer experience, is another key. Because even if you make a mistake, but you have that customer experience that they see you as a caring, honest, honorable, they forgive you and they come back.
We had a dinner with Don Jr. in Tulsa.
Yes, sir.
And I asked Masood if we could host the dinner at his house. So Donald Trump Jr. was at his house. We were there. And your house is a replica of the house you grew up in as a kid. Is
Yes,
that right?
sir. Yes, sir. Since I cannot go back, I applied for political asylum, so I'm blessed to be alive in America. If you love America, let me hear you. USA! USA! Don't be embarrassed. USA! Get your hands up! USA! 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 Because you cannot be successful businessman if you take an oath of silence. You have to show your compassion for the nation, for the country that give you opportunity. Because if you are in China, in Russia, there is no private sectors. It's all government, period.
There was a, and again, I'm telling you this because if he was sharing this story and you were in his living room, you'd be like, I'm writing this down. I don't know what he does, but he's doing something well. Now, Dr. Zellner, we were at his house years ago for it was a gathering of some kind. And one of my clients who was not doing well, he was a doctor. He said, I'm in town for the conference. Could I come with you to dinner at Z's house? I go, yeah, sure. Called Z, and Z goes, he's not going to kill my energy, is he? I go, what do you mean? He's like, a lot of times you bring guys and they're like, I don't have time to call my leads, or I don't know, I'm overwhelmed and I have anxiety and I can't get reviews and he's like, I just don't want Beavis or Butthead at my house. Can we? I go, he's a good guy. He's like, is he? And I'm like, yeah, he's a good guy. He's like, I don't know. Is he low energy? Is he going to be a weird guy, like a pretender? Is he an actual hard worker? I go, yeah, he's a good guy. So I'm telling the guy in the car, I'm like, you're a good guy. You're a hard worker. You're not going to make excuses. You're gonna show up on time. You're not going to bring low energy. Because there's certain people, how many of you know certain people that do this, though? You say, how are you? How many of you know these people? How are you? And they go,
Blessed.
it's my birthday, and no one remembered. How many of you know people like this? Everything is a downer. And this guy was a little bit of a downer guy, and I'm like, bro, you're an upper. He's going to say, how are you? You're going to say, I'm doing great, but getting better. You're going to make up something you've never said before. You're going to be positive. Come on. So we go in there, and the guy, the doctor, says, Dr. Z, the tracking thing, I don't like to track every week. I find for me, it's better to do, quarterly. And Dr. Z goes, Clay, could you go to my garage and get a hammer? No, it's a true story. And we're at Dr. Z's house, which, by the way, his aquarium is like the size of the wall here. Beautiful house, waterfall, the whole thing. He's got a rug on his wall. You've seen his rug. His rug is more expensive than my first house. I mean, it's just ridiculous. He's got armor from Scotland. He's got the throne chairs. I mean, and so he goes, Clay, get the hammer. So I come back. I said, I got the hammer. And he goes, here's the deal. If you don't track every week, and you take this hammer and smash yourself and the boop and the boop and the boop, because it's less painful than not track every week. What the hell is wrong with you? And this is my client, and Z's not getting paid for this interaction. And I'm going, Z, have you had a couple beverages? And he's like, yes. And this guy's pissing me off. It's a weak ass, you know, because he's trying to have a party, and this guy's talking about how he can't track every week. And so this doctor, we get in the car afterwards, and the doctor says, I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that. Because, you know, and it's like sometimes he didn't want to track every week, and he wanted someone to validate that it didn't make sense. You know, he was telling Z he couldn't find good people, and he wanted someone to validate it. And Z will not accept excuses. So somewhere on page 0, I want you to write down, you're not going to accept your own excuses. Because if you're smart, you can justify anything. Can we not?
That's right.
If you're a smart, clever person, you can justify anything. Can we not?
No.
If you're smart, come on. If you're smart, can you not make almost anything rhyme? Come on now.
Yes.
You can make anything. If you can almost be kind of clever enough to justify to yourself. Are we on the same page? If you're smart, now if you're kind of a dim bulb, you're kind of, hello. You probably can't be super clever. Have you ever had a non-clever employee try to explain to you why they showed up late? The clever ones at least have a story that makes sense. The non-clever ones, like I was watching the space. Never mind. Right? The clever one has at least a story that makes sense. So, okay, so we move on. So now, number 8, you got to have repeatable systems and processes. You got to have that. Bronson has those. Number 10, you got to manage people. I want to kind of land the plane at 10, 11, 12 here. Bronson, you manage people. You do it. You have a schedule that makes sense. You have great people on your team. Talk about your team. You brought some of your team. Talk about your great team. You're always bragging on the team. We're on the call. Bronson's always praising his team. And I know you praise the team sincerely because you look at a lot of people to find the right team. Talk about the dream team that you're building and the great work these people produce.
We have the best team we've ever had, and I'm super grateful for my team. None of the things that we accomplish would happen without them. And so I get my name thrown out there because I own it, but outside of, really it's all them, right? And so, but you know, we take a lot of hard work to find them with the group interview process. You have to build the business. You have to build something that they want to be a part of, okay? Because if your business kind of stinks, they don't want to be a part of it, you know? I've had some good people join my team that left big careers and taken pay cuts initially to come work, but they loved our culture, they loved our business, they loved how we operate. And that's the kind of thing that you want to build, is something that people want to get behind and be a part of. And we've done a great job with that, and my team's awesome right now.
Any questions for Bronson or Masood before we take a break? And again, any questions you put on the whiteboard, I promise I'll answer those before we break for lunch. Any questions you want to ask directly for Bronson, who's built a very successful insurance agent, for Masood, who's done well in real estate, done well in the medical field? Any questions? Any questions? Anybody? Any questions? No bad questions, just bad answers. No bad questions, just bad answers.
I want to give one comment to them.
Yeah.
In business, you have to be early and leave late. You always have to be early and leave late. Another one is, as Kelly stated, is a science. Means today, what is today? Couldn't hear you. Thursday. You need to be louder. Guys, you're in the business. What is today? Thursday. So, if I want to get to the next Thursday, I can, let's say Thursday. Is Thursday? Would you count with me? Friday? Well, I get tired. Well, that's what the process is. If you are not in the business of doing that, then you don't need to be in this business. Go work for someone else.
Okay, let's hear it for Masood and Bronson. Now, before you go, here's a challenge. Who left Trisha a review? Trisha, do you get any reviews? Do they come through? Who's not left her a review? Be honest. Come on. Can you leave a review? Can you look up, let's look at Beaches and Cream. I'm a bad host. If she comes all the way from Florida and I don't get her some reviews, I'm a terrible host. That's Beaches and Cream, Florida. Look that up. Sean, pull it up on the screen. Beaches and Cream, Florida. Leave her a review if you tasted it. Give her a review, taste review there. It's Beaches and Cream, Florida. Beaches and Cream. There you go. Leave her a review. And then also, Bronson, we have a challenge today. Yes. Okay. So what's the challenge? Tell us about some rate comparison challenge. What do you got here? What do you got?
Well, I brought my awesome team here today, and they're here to help any one of you that might want to compare rates. And we do business in Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Colorado, and Missouri.
Wow.
So we might be able to help a lot of you guys. So go see my team outside. They'll take down your information, have a good conversation. We can help you with your business insurance, your home and auto, life insurance, financial planning, whatever it might be.
And if he can't save you money, we'll hit you in the crotch with a hammer. No, that's not the deal. Okay, so just kidding. That's a reverse no-brainer.
Can I say something? Before you leave, always make sure, say to someone beside you, from the bottom of your heart, choose to believe in the best possibility. Say to someone beside you, choose to believe in the best possibility. All together, the best is yet to come. Couldn't hear you. One more time. Yes, sir.
He's America's hype man right there. That's Masood. We're coming back at 11:30 for our final session before lunch. 11:30.
how about a big
Final
hand for
session
Kelly?
before lunch. Coming back at 11:30. We'll come back at 11:30. Final session before lunch. We'll take a 15-minute break. Thank you, Bronson.
How about big hand for Kelly?
But that Clay Clark, man, he is one character.
It's a good word for him.
Character.
Character. Yeah, that is it.
Good, driven, smart. And I've never met a guy who was so hyper all the time. He's doing so much good. And then I met his mother, and she just says, she just lets him be Clay Clark. I mean, so he's endorsed by his mother, and he's doing magnificent work. So it was great meeting you out there and all the people that he surrounds himself with. Clay Clark starts his days at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, he's a machine. He's a machine.
Yeah. But I have problems with my company starting at 9 o'clock. Yes, hundreds of people showing up at 5 a.m. in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, he's a leader of a leader. He's a fantastic young man.
No, he is. He is.
Yeah.
And it's for the folks that aren't familiar with you, and probably few and far between, I first came across you, gosh, probably 15 years ago, or maybe even 20.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
I heard about it on the podcast. Started listening to the podcast, became a fan, and then figured out about the workshop. I own an insurance and financial services agency, and I was hoping to learn from the workshop systems and processes. I'm big on systems and processes, and always learning better ways to run a business more efficiently. The atmosphere's second to none. It's a high energy, really cool atmosphere to be around. Contagious, I would say. Just something every entrepreneur, I think, would appreciate and love. I'd say humorous, high energy, and full of substance, which I think is the key. A lot of business coaches or seminars maybe are high on motivation and making you feel good, but don't have a lot of substance that you can take back and implement, the following Monday, where his does. Man, there's a lot of valuable things. I'm gonna say, this is my second workshop. The first workshop I took back really the importance of a group interview. I used to spend hours and hours interviewing people, screening resumes, and that saving my time on that part is valuable. It was that and then the sales scripting that have been two major things just so far. Man, I think they're missing out on, expert advice from somebody who's been there, done that, built companies, has learned a lot of lessons. That's what I'm always looking for, is somebody that I can learn from that's ahead of where I am. And I think if you choose not to come, you're missing out on a lot of good advice that could help your business.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us, and it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builders shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D. Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love building relationships. But one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. the processes and the advertising and marketing, I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due. And Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
Clay, my honor to be on your show. And thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learned from you. So congratulations.
And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. Hi, I'm Kelsey with K&D's Woodward Finishing. I'm business owner at 23. So I've been working this K&D's company for about 5 years now, and we started working with Thrive not too long ago. And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. That's what we're going to hit or exceed. So we're pretty excited about that. It's been pretty much just listening to what they have to say. Their hiring process has just really been incredible as far as finding good quality help, and the just the accountability of meeting up with them weekly, and like such good insight, the resources that they have for specific business questions. It's all been really incredible. It's been a great experience, so I would recommend it to anybody.
What I've seen from Clay and his group at Thrive is they'll give you a simple system, and it's the simple systems are the ones that people can wrap their brain around. They're the ones that people can work with on a day-to-day basis.
Hi there, my name is Stephanie Pipkin. I am 24 years old and I own Black River Falls Cleaning Services. We opened in April of 2019 and it is now mid-June of 2020. So I wanted to talk today about the success and growth I have achieved by implementing the Proven Path with Clay Clark's team and my business coach Luke from Thrivetime. It has been insane to say the least. I started working with them in mid-February of this year, so we're about 4 months in of working together, and it has completely transformed my business in pretty much every facet. So I'm going to check my notes here. So in 4 months, my leads have tripled. I was getting probably like 2 leads a week. Now I'm getting more in the like 10 to 15 leads a week. I have doubled my number of employees. I'm now hitting the highest revenue weeks in the history of the company, week to week, it seems like. We went from about 6 appointments today as our highest in February to now 14 to 15 appointments a day. And hiring quality employees has become much simpler and less stressful by using their systems for hiring. I typically only get maybe 2 complaints a month, if that, and everybody shows up to work. I just have really high quality employees now, especially in something people typically consider a high turnover type of work, you know, cleaning houses, cleaning businesses. I have amazing employees now, and I get rid of the ones who are not so amazing and bring on new ones because of, you know, group interviews and interviewing every single week. It's just been great, and such I don't waste as much time on low quality candidates anymore. And your coach will hold you accountable. I mean, which I love. Again, the tough love is really great. You know, Luke's like a stern father figure, but he's also nice, but also stern when he needs to be, when I'm being lazy and not doing the things that I know I need to do because I don't want to do them. So that's just great. Worth every penny. I mean, I'd pay him $1 million a month if I can, and maybe someday I'll be able to, but I would just say go for it. If it seems like a good fit, just go for it. Do what they say, even if you think it's stupid or ridiculous, just do what they say because it'll work. You know, people, when they look at my business, you know, people in my town, they think I'm lucky. They think I'm just, you know, things just happen for me. And, you know, maybe I am lucky, but it has a lot to do with hard work and, you know, perseverance and, you know, working till you cry sometimes. That's just being an entrepreneur, which if you're a business owner, you understand that. But it's having these systems in place of, you know, of course I'm going to be successful. It's an absolute because I have all this stuff in the background happening, and I have Luke and Clay and everybody on their team working really hard to make sure that I'm a success. And I can tell that they are just so excited every single week when I'm having all these wins and things like that. They're so excited for me. So it's the best thing ever, and I would suggest to anybody to work with them. So sorry for the long-winded reply, but I just had so much to say, and I could go on for hours probably about how amazing they are. But thank you to Clay and Luke and the entire team there, everything you guys have done for me, and I am so excited to continue to work with you for years to come. Thanks so much for watching.
My saying is, if it's important to you, hire a coach. And I think that's one of the reasons people are not successful is they eat a cheeseburger instead of hiring a coach, you know what I mean? And so my coach pushes me. They're younger than me. They push harder. They're trained. And as my rich dad always said, you know, amateurs don't have a coach, but professionals always have coaches. So I've always had coaches for whatever is important. And, you know, my rich dad was one of those persons.
Most of the best in the world in business or in sports, they have also coaches on the side and mentors on the side. Why? Because they want that 1% of 1% of 1% to get better.
You're on it, man. You're on it. You're on it. Everybody listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. You have the macro picture. Very few people have that point of view. Clay, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. And as they say in Stoic, the obstacle is the way. And so if you let these pinheads get in your way, you're in trouble.
The Thrivetime Show, 2-day interactive business workshops, are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built the Thrive15.com workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every Thrive15.com workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot-coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.